everybody, welcome back. My name is Kisha. I'm the author of the Glamorous French Housewife blog. The link to that is below and it's usually up here. So today I am doing a question and answer video, an Ask the Housewife series, if you will, specifically for kids. And I really like this because it takes a village to raise a child. I fully know that. From the doctors, teachers, counselors, principals, nurses, babysitters, grandparents, neighbors. I mean, you name it. There's usually a lot of people involved if you're trying to raise a child. So I think it's important that we can all learn from each other. Try not to judge each other. I hate seeing other mothers tear mothers down. Everybody does, things differently. And I'm hoping that with answering some of these questions, you guys will get an idea how I feel about some things. Maybe it will give you some new ideas, and maybe it will just help. I tried to go through my Facebook, my YouTube, my Twitter. My husband even helped and pulled questions. I wrote them down because, if I put them in my phone, it times out, and then I lost my place. It's a mess. So I just decided to do it the regular old pen and paper way. And two things. I'm filming in front of my chalkboard wall, which I love. I haven't filmed here before. Hopefully the lighting's okay. And if you want to see how to make it, I'll link that right there. And I will be linking this up on some mommy Linkups too. So I'll link those below in the down bar in case you're a blogger and want to participate. I'm not sure, they'll maybe appreciate it being video, but that's what I'm doing this week. So let's get to it because there's a lot of questions and I don't know how many I'm going to get answered. So how many kids do you have and how many does Scott have? So I have 3 and Scott has 2. Yes. I have Brittany, Jackson, and Jordan. He has Zane and Laura. So we have 5 together. I have 3. He has 2. My 11-year-old also suffers ADHD. How is Jackson doing? Well, Jackson does have ADHD. He also has some childhood depression. He takes Adderall for the ADHD, and he takes Zoloft for the depression. I have to say that the Zoloft has been like life-changing for him. Instead of being like mopey and gloom and doom, he is a little more open. He is like a germaphobe, and it's difficult at times to get him to do certain things, and neither the Adderall and the Zoloft really isn't fixing that. The Zoloft helped a little bit in regards to that. He doesn't want to play outside. He's worried about getting kidnapped. He's very gloom and doom. And so, the Zoloft is very much helping that. The Adderall helps him, concentrate better in school. So he is doing overall better, and I love it. Will you do more lunchbox videos? Yes, and I have a video coming up probably the first day of March of like some of the meals and lunchbox things that are lunchbox menus that we did for the month of February. So it's going to be like an entire video of just the meals we ate in February and some of the lunches. I might do a lunchbox video sometime of just only lunchbox foods, but he doesn't always take his lunch anymore, so it's kind of hard to film a whole bunch of them when sometimes he eats at school and sometimes he takes his lunch. It just really depends. And, by the way, I don't say names. I can't pronounce half of them, as who sent them in. And I just sometimes broke it down to the bare bone question. So there might have been a whole lot of other context, but the question I just pulled out. And how do you clean with a house full of kids? So I got to be careful or this part will take a long time. But in the summer, we have all the kids here, usually with the exception of the oldest one, which is Laura. She's, has her own 2 children. We have grandchildren. And she doesn't come usually when the small kids are here. I wish she would. I'd love like a full family picture, and it's next to impossible to get those pictures sometimes, especially with the older kids. But it's difficult. Now, my kids aren't babies no more. Brittany is 12, Zane and Jackson are 11, so they can help out. And on cleaning day, they all get chores. Empty the trash upstairs, help scoop the cat boxes, vacuum their rooms, You know, I give them little jobs, and then if they don't do them, I get good and mad, and sometimes I turn the internet off on them, or take away the controllers to the video games, and give them back when their job is done. Sometimes, you know, we're really busy in the summer. We're swimming, and we're hiking, and we're playing with the kids, and sometimes the house is just a mess. We live here. It's okay, and we make up for it on cleaning day. But I give them a little task. If you have younger children, you can start by doing little things that are super, super easy. You can have them go around with the vacuum attachment and get the baseboards. You can definitely let a 4-year-old do that. As long as, you know, you're kind of supervising her if they're in the same room as you. Super easy to do. And start off with age-appropriate stuff. And that's something you probably will hear a lot through these questions. Age-appropriate. There's, you know, little things that little kids can do. As they get bigger, they can do, you know, bigger stuff. Jackson doesn't do a whole lot. Now, during the school year, it's just Jackson here, and I don't make him do a lot. I expect good grades, and as long as he's in school, I have no problem helping him clean his room, or, you know, put away the laundry or empty the trash. He does help on weekends quite a bit. On Saturdays, I'll, you know, get him busy, but I don't really like him putting away dishes because he tends to chip them and they go in the weirdest places. So I really don't let the kids clean the kitchen a whole lot. Just don't like it. Brittany, my daughter, when she's here in the summer, she cleans up the dishwasher and usually does a pretty good job at it. Usually. Next question, what was Jackson's birth story? So a lot of these questions are about Jackson because I know a lot of viewers on my other channel, which I will link for you, my vlogging channel, see Jackson in most of the videos because he's the one who's here during the school year, and his birth story. Jackson was born early. He had intrauterine growth delay where he started reducing in size inside of me instead of growing. He was born early. He was born premature, and it was scary. He was so little, and he's fine. Sometimes I wonder if that has anything to do with ADHD or whatever, and, you know, he's very immature, so I'm wondering if those two things, you know, matter. The doctor said they do, and I think it kind of shows, but most of the time boys are immature anyway. I'm trying to do these kind of fast because there's so many. Is it hard being away from Brittany because she lives with her father? Absolutely, it's hard. But I talk to her every day. We Facebook, text, email. I visit sometimes. She's here, you know, in the summer. But she didn't want to leave cheerleading, leave her school, leave her friends, so she stays with her dad, and we work it out. And I think he's probably better for her, and I'm better for Jackson. So, yeah. Will you be posting more kid-friendly meals? Sure. I'll post some. I figure I post a lot anyway. You can see burgers and fries, tacos and beans, breakfast and sausage, pizza and root beer floats. Those are all kid-friendly meals. That's the menu, the upcoming week menu. How do you discipline? Again, that needs to be age-appropriate and tailored to every individual child. I started off not wanting to whip my kids. I whipped them a little bit, probably from 4 to 6, off and on, just a little bit. My ex-husband did too. But we found when we did it, it didn't do anything, and it made us feel awful. So we just stopped that altogether. Jackson has to write sentences. He loses Xbox. I still put him in the corner. Loses stuff, and loses TV, loses playtime. Yeah, that kind of thing. What is a go-to dinner for kids? I did get a lot of questions. A go-to dinner. Spaghetti and meatballs, homemade fish sticks, homemade pizzas that you can make out of biscuit dough. I think I have a video. If I do, I'll link it over there somewhere. Or a blog post, I'm not sure which. Lots of kid-friendly meals are out there. You can check Pinterest. You can go through all my recipes. There's like a bazillion recipes that are kid-friendly. What time does Jackson go to bed? Jackson's TV has to be off no later than 9:30. Most of the time he's asleep, though, by about 9 p.m. And he gets up at He gets up at 6:30, or 6:15 really. How did I get Jackson to do better in school? Wow, it was really about finding the balance in medicine. I threatened him like crazy over military school, took a tour of it, got all kinds of stuff in the mail, and that pretty much scared him straight, and he's doing pretty good now. Any potty training tips? Well, you know, I have raised cats, and I know cats and kids are not the same, but in a way they are. Because after, you know, when cats are being trained to use a litter box, kittens, it's not always so easy. And the same way works with the kids for me. So after I would feed the kittens, like 5 minutes after they were done, you know, they would clean their face with their paws, I would put them right in the litter box. And I did that every single time. So I kind of feel the same about children. After they eat, give them about 5 or 10 minutes and put them on the potty. Make sure you have the right kind of potty and all that. Jackson was harder. Brittany was easy. Jackson put his little thing up on the rim of the toilet. The seat fell down and hit it. He'll probably die one day if he becomes an adult and sees these videos. When he becomes an adult. And it hit it. And it, for real, like, flipped my son out over to the toilet. It was the end of potty training for a long, close to a year. So he was later, but there's targets you can put that are, you know, flushable, that you can put in the toilets. You can drop some Cheerios in there and tell them to, like, kind of hit the target if they're standing up. Patience. And like I said, every time they've eaten or had some juice, 10 or 15 minutes, probably max, afterwards, I would have them on the potty every single time. Again, going to the potty before bed. Sometimes I would wake my kids up in the middle of the night when they were potty training. They had the pull-ups on, though. And right before I'd go to bed, I'd make them get up and go to the bathroom. We've never had bedwetting issues, but I definitely would get them up in the middle of the night, right before I went to bed, every time. And it seemed to work pretty well until that incident with Jackson. Let's see. Do you have any indoor activities for kids on rainy days? Absolutely, I do. Rock candy is fun to make, and you can start that. I linked that over here somewhere for you. Games, puzzles, kitchen crafts, making your own Play-Doh. Again, go to Pinterest because there's so many ideas there. But on rainy days, a lot of times Jackson's doing his own thing and on the video games, and he doesn't really mind. Jackson is quiet most of the time when he's at home. So even on a rainy day, Jackson usually isn't going crazy to get outside. He just is not that interested in going outside. Does Scott discipline the kids? To a degree. Now, I don't believe anybody should whip the kids except the birth mother and the birth father. So, Scott's allowed to put them in bed, put them in timeout. I guess he could yell at them, but I don't really like that. He can make them write sentences. Yes, they have to respect him. But Scott's been around from the very beginning. I mean, Brittany was like 3 and Jackson was like 2. So, you know, they've grown up with Scott. That means they need to respect him and listen to him. He's still an adult, and he's a major figure in their lives, but he's not allowed to physically whip them, ever. And I don't whip his. It's just not how it works. What grades are your kids in? Brittany's in 6th, Zane and Jackson are in 5th, and Laura is in her last year of college. She's going to be a physical therapist, and we're so proud of her. If she actually graduates and goes to work in her field, I'm going to be like super proud of her, because so many of my family, my friends, including myself, got these degrees, never worked in that area, and basically wasted it. I would have never went to school if I knew I was going to be a stay-at-home wife and mom. That's the truth. Because I racked up so much in student loans. But she is in her last year of college, so I'm excited for her. Do you think TV church is as good as going? So this is somebody who has seen me vlog on my other channel about watching Joel Osteen's on Sunday mornings instead of getting up and going to church. Do I think it's better? Probably not. You don't get the social experience and all that kind of stuff. I got that, and I I think it's better than nothing, though, and I love Joel Osteen. Sometimes, well, my husband works every day, even Saturdays, and Sundays is his only, well, he's off Wednesday and Sunday, but usually on Sundays, you're not going to want to, my husband's not always going to want to go to church. He's going to want to sleep in sometimes. He's going to want to play golf, and if I can get the family to watch Joel Osteen, we get a whole bunch of CDs, then if I can do that for 45 minutes, I feel like I've done something. Jackson learns scriptures every day. There's one right behind me. It's on the chalkboard. He learns it every week. I said every day. Every week. Highlights it in his Bible after he's pretty much quizzed on it, but he's quizzed every day. But once he has really learned it, learned where it's at, which is right there, he highlights it and learns a new one. So every week there's a new quote. But no, I think if you can get to church, that's probably better. But I was raised Catholic. Scott was raised Methodist. We don't know what we're doing church-wise yet. We just don't. And Joel Osteen kind of fits the bill right now. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I don't regret it. What are some of Jackson's favorite books? I plan on doing a whole video later about this. I don't really want to speak for him. I know some of them. But I'm going to do a whole video, so I'll answer that then. What chores do your kids do? So, Jackson, again, empties the trash, helps with the cat boxes, picks up the bathroom, sorts his own laundry. Not a whole lot, to be honest. He's 11 and he's a boy. I know that might sound weird, but Brittany is better at cleaning than he is, even though she complains the whole time. She's kind of sloppy, but once I get her cleaning, she's pretty good at it. Do you believe in immunizations? Yes. I know there's been lots of studies about them and autistic children and all that kind of stuff, but I still think for the most part, I want my kids to have their shots so they're protected. So, yes, I do. How did you do the Santa talk? The Santa talk, well, I don't remember exactly how we did the Santa talk. Brittany figured it out first, and then Jackson figured it out later. She did not tell him, though. I was very insistent that she would not tell him and run Santa for him. But I think he figured it out when he saw us, like, wrapping the presents or something. I'm not sure. Did you ever have a problem with the exes about kids being on the blog and on videos? Yes, one time. My husband's ex-wife said she didn't want her son on the videos or the pictures. And we thought about it. We really thought about it, Scott and I. It was really more of a Scott decision than mine. We thought that since I would be putting Brittany and Jackson on video, that it would be really hard on Zane to, to not be put on film and to still feel included. So Scott's the birth father of Zane, and he pretty much overruled her, and we told her to, too bad. Scott's parent, we are a family that videos a lot, and tough shit if she didn't like it, so that's pretty much where we left that. Do you take birth control? I guess that's a kid question. I about died when I wrote that down. No, we are careful, but if I come back on here in months to come and say I'm pregnant, I'm going to flip out. Birth control, no. I just don't like what it does to my body. And I will say, though, once my daughter hits a certain age, she will be on birth control. Absolutely. But for me, no, I don't take it. Do I have any teacher gift ideas? I do. There's tons of cute teacher mugs you can always find at Hallmark. There is also the Erin Condren teacher planner, which I think I'm going to get one of Jackson's teachers. Lots of teacher ideas. You can do a bag full of cookies with a pretty note just to say thank you. I plan on giving a gift at the end of the year. That's when I plan on doing it. Let's see. Why does your daughter live with her father? Like I said, she didn't want to leave her friends and family when we moved to North Carolina and then South Carolina. I tried to respect that and let her stay with her dad, and I think he's like the better parent for her. She needs something a little stronger than me, and Jackson needs something a little more easygoing than Art. So she lives there out of choice. Doesn't mean she doesn't love me, doesn't mean I don't love her. Will you ever record disciplining Jackson? No, not likely. Sometimes I might show you some sentences he wrote or something like that, but usually if I'm disciplining my child, it's not something I want to film. It's not something I'm sure he wants me to show, even though he really don't get a vote on that yet. But No, I'm never going to probably record disciplining him. How do you manage Xbox with your son? Oh, take the controllers, pull the wires. He has certain times he's allowed to be on, and he has to be off at certain times. There's cursing on it, and he's on Xbox Live, and, I'm always worried he's going to give our address out, and we've had some serious talks about Xbox safety, and I believe he's very conscious of the world and dangers, so I don't believe he would do that, but does concern me. I try to limit as much as possible, and he might hear some bad words, but he better not repeat them, or he will get in trouble. And then, let me say something about discipline. When the kids were little, and I talked about, whipping them sometimes, in my home, I did automatic whippings. And automatic whippings were things like, if you hurt an animal on purpose, and I bred Persian cats, if you hurt an animal on purpose, it's an automatic whipping. If you tear apart a book, it's an automatic whipping. If you, I don't know, stuff like that. Major stuff, at least in my opinion. If you tear up an electronic on purpose, automatic whipping. And we had those with the animals because the kids were extremely rough with them starting off. 4, 5, 6, 7. They were pretty rough on all animals. They would play Superman with them and stuff, put capes on them and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like, I had to get a grip on things. Whipping them really did not work. I guess in a way it stopped them at that moment, but made me feel awful. But you can enforce the automatic punishment, if you will, and make it any punishment you want for certain things that are important that you find important. Okay, next question. When do your kids do their homework? Well, Brittany does her homework most of the time at school. Jackson, he comes in from school about 3 o'clock, and I give him about 2 hours off. I give him enough time to relax, to get his mind off, books and stuff, and just kind of cool down. And then at 5 o'clock, he starts homework. And sometimes if it's math homework and my husband is helping him, then he has to wait till Scott gets home to do the math homework. I suck in math, and I'm so thankful that my husband doesn't, because it would be impossible for me to help Jackson with homework on math. I just don't get it. Do you have a planner just for the kids? No. My kids aren't really that athletic. Brittany does do cheerleading, and if she lived here, I might, keep a planner just on her activities and, put Jackson's in. But Jackson doesn't have a lot of activities besides going to school and maybe some doctor's appointments, so I keep those in my planner, which I have an upcoming video very soon about. Is Jackson being raised in Kabbalah? So when I read this question, I looked to see who sent it. And this is a long-term blogging friend, reader, if you will. She's read my blog pretty much from the very beginning and knows that I study Kabbalah. And it's just kind of hard to explain. I am a French Catholic, and I've always felt like an Italian Jew. I know that's insane. And I feel comfortable in Kabbalah. I really feel comfortable with the teachings. I'm comfortable, obviously, in the Catholic Church. I know my prayers, and done that for quite a while, and I'm pretty comfortable in a Methodist church because of my husband. But in regard to Jackson, no, I have not. Yes and no, because there are some quotes, some teachings that I have put on the refrigerator, some Kabbalah teachings that Jackson has, learned or studied, but I don't really push that on him at all. I'm not deep into Kabbalah as much as I was. I have all the CDs, and I studied it a long time. But we're not close to a Kabbalah center, and it makes it a little more difficult. But probably if I was closer to a Kabbalah center, he definitely would study it. We're still trying to find our way on where we belong in church, and we just don't know. My husband did not study Kabbalah, so. What are our summer plans? This summer is going to be quite different. Jackson is going to visit his dad, and Brittany is staying home this summer for cheerleading camp, which, tore my heart out. But I totally understand. I respect her actually being big enough to say, hey, Mom, this year I really want to go. She's always like an alternate because she misses camp because she comes to my house. So, and that's difficult, living in different states. It's very difficult. But Zane is supposed to come up. So what I'm thinking is trying to figure out those dates a little bit better on when Brittany will be out of cheerleading camp and see if we can get all the kids down here for maybe 2 weeks. But most of the summer is going to be quiet. I just don't want to bring Zane, that's Scott's youngest, because he comes from a huge family of kids. His mom has other children, and he's always around kids, and Brittany and Jackson aren't here. I think he's going to be really lonely. So I'm going to still try to get them all here, but we're going to be taking Jackson to his dad's this summer. I tried friending you on Facebook and didn't get a response. And this was from one of Brittany's friends. So let me tell you, my personal Facebook page, I will friend some YouTubers and some bloggers, but I will not friend their kids. I will not friend Brittany's friends that are kids. I do have a couple of Brittany's friends on there, but that's only because she really wanted me to, but I don't like doing that because, I feel like my private Facebook page, I sometimes, run off the mouth and say something I shouldn't, and my kids might see it. We handle social media, as it comes. Brittany's all over it. Jackson's kind of, on it, but not really on Facebook. But I do not really like to friend kids because sometimes my material is adult. Sometimes I'm cussing, and I don't think my personal Facebook page needs to be for kids. So, unfortunately, I really do not want to friend a whole bunch of young children. They're more than welcome to follow my blog via Blog Lovin' or follow my Facebook fan page. But my personal page, chances are, if you're under 18, I'm probably going to say no. And if I never talk to you and you're just some stranger that I don't know, you better send a message or something if you really want to follow me because, or friend me, because I'm not doing it. If we've never talked, you're not getting access to my Facebook page because my family's on there and stuff, so no. Why do you lay Jackson's stuff out every night? I lay Jackson's stuff out every night because Scott takes him to school in the mornings, and if it's not laid out on the table, then it's a hell of a morning, and things are forgotten, and, it's more difficult. So, being that Scott is sweet enough to take him to school for me every morning, I can get his stuff ready every night. How do you cope with social media, which I was just getting ready to talk about, or just was talking about, actually. I cope with it. It's hard with Brittany because she's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, my daughter's all over it. And Vine. And I monitor her. I check her Facebook messages, not, every day, but she never knows when I'm going to. When she's here, I take her phone. I just, phone check and grab the phone and check through it. Yeah. So I just do the best I can. If she gets in trouble, if she runs her mouth on Facebook, says something she shouldn't say, I make her take it down, and there's been times that her Facebook page has been shut down over something stupid she said. So she is very careful with what, is visible because, other people are going to see stuff that the kids write on Facebook and Instagram, and, I want them to understand that those things can be used against them in so many different ways that they need to be smart, and I'm all over her about that. So that wraps up this round of questions. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope the lighting's been okay in front of my chalkboard wall. I love this wall, you guys. It's so fun and my favorite thing in the house right now. But I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope your kids have a wonderful week. And I will be back very, very soon. We're going to do this again with, kitchen. So the next Ask the Housewife series is going to be any questions regarding the kitchen, recipes, cooking, all that. You can get those questions together. Send them to me on my contact me page on my blog. There is a link at the top, and there's a form. You can send them in that way. You can leave them in YouTube comments, blog comments, Twitter, Facebook, my personal Facebook, my fan page. Any way you want, you're more than welcome to send those questions in. We'll do it in probably like 4 weeks to a month, or 4 weeks to a month. We'll do it in about a month probably, and I will answer all the questions I can. So about the kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, take a moment, check out my channel. I have lots of videos. Subscribe if you don't want to miss them. Thumbs up. Share this with your friends if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.